This is Josiah Plays Torment, Tides of Numenera. Alright, we just did a lot of shopping at Lady Anshi. We bought a lot of cool shit. We're all upgraded and everything. It feels good. We got the thing looking out like a guardian. There's a Dearest.
Alright.
Here's a cast-off. You're the latest version. Not much of an improvement. Why are you pestering me? Talk to a Dearest or something. Leave me alone, will you? Not interested. Okay, well, you don't have to be a giant dick about it. A warm glow emanates from the windows of this house, but the windows are frosted. You cannot see inside. Another cast off.
Here we go then.
There's a lot of these glowing shield generator thingies. Flip other cast off. All this drama makes you wonder what our lives are actually for.
Of course.
This place is dull.
Oh. Yes?
I don't suppose there's anything to talk to our people about. Oh yeah. Crosses his arms and waits. Give me your opinion on Miela Vest. He looks around and his mouth is tight. Every one of these people has been touched by the changing god. Every one. And look at them. They all seem scarred and fragile. Something that's almost pity touches his face. All of you are suffering. His voice hardens again. But it doesn't compare to the suffering you all have brought to the world. What was that again? Feel for all of you, surrounded by beauty, and all you do is fight. And how are you holding up? Well, as can be expected. No! I don't want to part. I lied. I pressed the wrong button. Never mind. Wrong button.
What now?
So, we're here in Miela Vest. Tell me about it. He looks around, downcast. It's beautiful, isn't it? But now I can't wait to get out of here. Look at this. This isn't the world. It's a prison. And all of our brothers and sisters here, they're prisoners. They act like it too. What was that again? Let's finish what we came to do and then leave. I forgot what it's like here. He's gonna say the same thing here. Oh, this changed. This isn't the same thing that she always says. How are you holding up? I'll stick with you. You're a different breed from the rest of us. You're making progress. He looks at you waiting. I have more questions about cast-offs. No. Is she gonna say anything new about... This is new! I bet you have some opinions about Alagern. I'll say this once. You saw the look on his face at his monument. Maybe he has a reason for his pain. I don't need your pity, cast-off. Good, because I'm entirely out. Dour, self-righteous, carrying the world's grief on his back. He'd have made a good cast-off. Let's talk about Rin. Are you touched in the head, or do you just not care about what your failure would do to her? Or maybe I want to be here. Wonderful. Both of you are insane. Let's talk some more about Rin. Oh, same thing. So does she have anything new to say about... Okay. I love it when the companions have new stuff to say. How are you holding up? He says as well as can be expected. Let's talk about our traveling companions. We have to. What do you think of Matt Kina again? I don't poke at predators. I like to keep my distance. What do you think of Rin again? She shouldn't be here. We're going through some dark places. Forget it. Let's continue on. Rin, how you doing?
Oh, yes?
Takes her a while to notice you as she looks around in awe. I want to talk about you again. Never mind. How are you holding up? Okay, she said that before. How about the people we're traveling with? She looks warily over your shoulder. Really? Who? What do you think of Allegern? Alright, she said that before. She's a little cold. I wish she wasn't. That's all for now, thank you. Alright, so we're... What's this guy up to? This place is dull. All this drama makes you wonder what our lives are actually for. With so much drama in the Miel of Est BC, it's kind of hard being Snoop D-O double G. I can understand wanting to avoid the sorrow, but the folks who live here never live, you know?
Oh, yes?
No. Alright. It looks dark and cool inside this living structure. Unfortunately, the door is locked.
Let's go all. You and me.
There's Elkashai. One would have a fantastic view of the plateau from this building on this verdant crag. This all feels extremely familiar. Alright, so there's these two people, this person, Adiris, Melmoth. Lots of people to talk to still. Without him, you'd be running for your life instead of standing here and running your mouth. I'm aware of the defenses here, but they're not enough. Alright, I think we've basically explored it. Let's just go talk to all the people we haven't talked to now.
I'm ready.
Cast-offs. I'm not leaving until I'm sure the sorrow is quiescent again. I felt the sorrow manifesting near me, just a hunch, and I got here as quick as I could. Alright, that makes sense. That seems wise. I hope the shields hold.
Alright.
Aware of the defenses here, but they're not enough. Don't let the others worry you too much. Everyone's too worried. The portals were open before, and the sorrow never used them. Shields are just a camouflage. The sorrow could stumble upon us at any moment. Don't worry, we should still be safe here. Who's to say you aren't going to lead the sorrow here too? You should leave Miel of Est. I'll wager the sorrow's hot on your trail. You're the one who fell from the stars? Alright, let's talk to Melmoth Leviarm. He looks pretty fancy. Look at this guy with his creepy... He looks like Dendra O'Her. Is he Dendra O'Her? Is he the founder of the Dendra O'Her? Is that where we got his name from? Maybe he is the founder of the Dendra O'Her. Your eyes are drawn to the tattered leather robes and profusion of tubes that wire this man. He is lighter skinned, with piercing eyes and a hideous pitted scar on his face. He could be handsome, but centuries of neglect have ravaged his looks. He sees your companion and hisses, "Matkina!" Her voice is flat and measured. "Melmoth, You know, I've always wondered, if you were to die, would your followers eat you? Oh, he is the founder of the Dendra. Yalin, for instance. How did that ever turn out? Yalin! Ha! There's a name I haven't heard for some time. Your old friend left an inedible corpse, probably to hide the crimes you and he had planned. Now look, you've been away for a while, and I understand your memory isn't what it was. He trails off. Did I dream someone telling me that? Was it a vision? Bah, no matter. What was I saying? Something about my memory. A trenchant and witty comment about my powers of recollection, no doubt. His only reply to her is a long and unpleasant sneer. He looks at you and says, You travel in bad company, sibling. Anger her and she'll find a way to scar you, even if she leaves no other mark on the world. Likely, she'll leave pain. It's immortality of a sort, I suppose. He barks out a short laugh. Ha ha! Cast off humor. You'll learn. Tell me about yourself. His lopsided smile seems like more of a grimace. Take a drink of water. I'm Melmoth Leviarm. I'm the creator of the Dendro-Hur, the greatest, or at least most innovative, of the brotherhoods that seek to pass along knowledge from one generation to the next. So many people back away from me because of the way I look, or the way I speak. But let me tell you that in this body I have lived countless lives, seen endless worlds, experienced memories that beg a description. I contain worlds, and they judge me by my appearance. Sometimes I wonder who I'm saving this knowledge for. What can you tell me about the Dendro-Hur? You know, they ate me. They call us the Eaters of the Dead. We take the knowledge from their fading flesh. Every life flickers and dies, and when knowledge disappears, the world grows darker. The rain of death washes away experience. I want to preserve. Each of the Dendra is a library of experience. A feral grin flickers on his mouth and vanishes. Every life that vanishes is a loss. Every person living has a story. The secret keys of history hide there. I want truth. I want exposure. I want knowledge to live. And you want to eat people. Can you tell me more about the Dendro-Hur? Death is a waste of history. Eat the dead that we might remember the lessons of time. Can you tell me more about the Dendro-Hur? No. With all your acquired knowledge, you must have a unique outlook on the endless battle.
Making a note.
A waste of life and a criminal waste of knowledge. The weapons being discharged are lost to us forever. Each life gone is an experience that will disappear into the mists of eternity, snuffled away, forgotten, never to be seen again. He leans in. Our sire sought to cheat death to stop that kind of waste. It is beyond my reasoning why he'd allow the endless battle to continue. Can you tell me about the other cast-offs here? He leers an ugly smile. They are idiots and fools. They think their shields can protect them from the sorrow forever. I came here to retrieve some research, and every time I come, I think of how much knowledge is in their minds and their bodies, and I wish they would just die already so I could gain access to their wasted experiences. He scratches a small infection in his hand. On the other hand, they're the closest I have to peers. Gods, what does that say about me? What else can you tell me about the other cast-offs here? Let's not. They bore me. I'm looking for Mazov. Him? That useless tinkerer? Why? I have some questions for him. Oh, a mystery. I love mysteries. He barks laughter. I'll surmise, then. He's a machine man, a fixer of broken objects, and a builder of new ones. And so you must need a repair, or a new device. He raises a finger. But how would you have known to look for Mazov? Who could have told you? I did. Must you ruin my conjecture, Matkina? I was enjoying the mystery. He turns to you. To answer your query, I don't know where Mazov is. I suggest asking Adiris. Yeah, we get that a lot. Farewell. Don't eat anything I wouldn't eat. Don't you mean don't eat anyone I wouldn't eat?
If you're sure it's safe.
And don't eat anyone he wouldn't eat. You never knew the first. You'd have liked her.
You won't notice I'm gone.
Alright, let's talk to this one. Okay, we've talked to that one. I assume we've also talked to this one already. Yeah, we have. These two. Actually, let's go talk to this one, Alkashai, first. Alkashai, Alkashai. Was it? No, that wasn't it. This slim cast-off looks to be in his late teens. He carries an odd-looking device that resembles a scorched circle, and it's not hard to draw the connection between it and the red mark of a recent injury that travels along his forehead and under his hair. The man seems confused, hesitant, as if he has so many questions that he isn't sure which to ask first. I want to ask. Not sure. He gives a shaky smile. I want to ask you a lot. We all do. She studies his face and comes to a conclusion. I don't know him, she mutters to you. He's a newer cast-off, at least within the last century. Looks like he's been worse used than all the rest of us. Who did you mean when you said we? He blinks hard at your question, twisting the blackened circlet through his hands. I once fought in the endless battle. Found this in a giant clay hand. Trapped in a half-shattered block of stone. I took it. He shakes his head as if denying the memory itself. Put it on. The circlet spins through his hands faster and faster. Saw darkness. Knew I was inside the owner of that hand. A clay automaton imprisoned. Knew I could control it. Huh. Okay. He shivers. I did. Broke it free from the stone. Used it in service of our sire for many years. Thought of it as my armor. He blinks hard again, like a man trying to dislodge a thought with his eyelids alone. That was nice. Then, a war construct collapsed on the automaton, crushed it, and the crowd burned. I remember screaming, and 100 voices in my head, arguing with each other, shouting, fighting. Another hard blink. Automaton wasn't armor, it was a container. Container for gods. You say gods? Yes. My armor wasn't a tool. It was a locked chest with a hole inside. Deep hole full of terrible gods. He shuts his mouth and says no more on the subject. Finn, can you help him? I can try, she says, hunkering down to examine Alkashai's eyes. Her small smile falls into a frown. Then she winces. Most of the cast-offs are pretty much giant edgelords. Ooh, XP. Don't understand these gods. They aren't like any I've ever met. They don't speak anything like a proper god. They are rude. cocks her head to listen more. All believes they're prisoners, and also not gods at all. She looks up at him sad. I offer apologies, sir, for I cannot help you. Elkashai nods glumly, unsurprised. What do you think it is in your head again? Gods, he says. Many, arguing. What was the endless battle like?
Making a note.
He shudders. Killed. We were killed. The dead crept into my mind. They told me to kill more, and I did because that's what we do. It's in our nature, you know? Worse than animals. Cast-offs, humans, whether created or evolved, we're all inclined to conflict. Tell me again what you think of the endless battle. I don't think about it. I don't want to remember. Alright, what kind of questions did you have for me? Forced your way through our portal, he says. Kept us safe from the sorrow. Now it's open. He swallows, eyeing you reproachfully, carefully. You feel a stirring of forces around you. You were reckless, he blurts, avoiding your eyes. You've exposed us, maybe killed us. I don't want to die. He is on the verge of tears. You need to tell me how bad it is, and I need the truth, he says, raising his eyes again. Have you seen it? Have you seen the sorrow? Yes. Knew it, he says, going pale. We're running out of time. Now listen, he says, blinking hard. This is even more important. Have you abused the tides to change things? To influence people? Well, yeah, a little bit. Very little. He groans. Oh, it doesn't matter. It'll find you. Every use of our power draws it like a fire in the sky. You should leave, he says, but there's no heat in his words. It'll follow you and leave us alone. His trembling hand seeks the red wound in his hairline. Did you want to ask me more questions? No, I don't. He avoids your eyes. You should go. Go before it comes for all of us. Farewell. I keep updating my journal. What am I updating? She keeps saying I'll make a note of that. I don't understand what she's making notes about, though, because nothing has been updated on my actual quests. Maybe this is updates for quests I don't even have yet. That could be the case. It would be weird, but it could be the case. Because it's not like a codex or anything. They said they're working on one, but who knows when that'll be done. Alkashai. Alright, all that's left now is these two and Adiris. Of course we save Adiris for last because that's how I roll.
Yes.
Without him, you'd be running for your life instead of standing here running your mouth. Oh, so now he built Mielavest on his own? He might as well have. The traitor doesn't count. Oh, they're arguing about the two sides of the battle, apparently. This guy's pro-changing God. And this guy's pro-first, probably. Of course I do. Anyone with any sense does. But let's see what they have to say. Rama Syro. Oh, it's a woman. This woman bears a toothy smile, enjoying the anger in the man she's speaking with. You probably think if you won, then the endless battle would actually end. Andrinus Sandhand. Weird last name. This man's face is flushed and angry. Veins throb on his forehead, and his eyes are focused on his competition. Stop talking, Rayma. He spits each word, gripping his weapon belt with bloodless fingers. Stop talking, or I'll prove you wrong right now. Ah, but it wouldn't do anything of the sort. Rayma replies, grinning as though she intends to eat the man whole and screaming. Even this argument is part of his plan. Do what you have to do, Andrinus. If not for the law, you'd already be dead, he says, and spits at her feet. Traitor! Fool! You child, he says with laughing scorn. You ingrate. This is no way for family to behave. They simultaneously turn silent, incredulous looks your way. This is exactly how our family behaves, she mutters at your side. Get used to it. What are you arguing about? Best stay out of it, Andrinus says, slashing the air between him and Rayma with his hand. Even a second of her boot-looking nonsense is a waste of your time. Hide from the truth all you want, Rayma says, shaking her head. You know I'm right. You know it. Neither of you actually told me what you're arguing about. Of course I didn't, Rayma says, grinning. Andrinus never lets me get a word in edgewise. Why should I? Andrinus says with a bitter laugh. All of your words are his, and I've had enough of him for a lifetime. Tell me what you're arguing about. Grinding his teeth together, Andrinus merely shakes his head. Rayma chuckles under her breath and runs an easy hand over her scalp. Tell me what you've been arguing about. How long have you two known each other anyway? Too long. Agreed. Apparently I can't get any more out of them right now. Alright. Adiris has a nice mini-colored outfit there. So she's apparently very kind and compassionate. The kindest and compassionatest of all of the outcasts. All of those cast-offs, according to somebody. We shall see. We'll put that compassion to a test. The test.
I'll remember that.
See, I just made a note again. Even though I don't think I really did. Even among all your siblings in Miela Vest, this woman is remarkably beautiful. Clad in a robe of myriad colors, she carries herself with a distinct grace and ease. Her skin is dark brown, her hair a rippling midnight black. Her violet eyes blaze momentarily as you approach, and she holds up her hand. Her voice is musical and sweet. You are most welcome here, sister. I am Adiris. I am the peacekeeper of Miela Vest. Word of your birth and exploits has reached us here already. He smiles. News travels fast in the cast-off world, as I'm sure you've already seen. I know your desire to speak to Mazov. I've even heard a rumor that you can alter the past, that you restored Matkina? This is strange to me, for I have two memories on the subject, one in which Matkina is whole, as we all know her now, and another in which her mind is incomplete. He laughs. Perhaps my mind is the one that's incomplete. I remember it, Adiris. The attack on Colne Village, where Paj destroyed my friends. You remember that? In another timeline, Tash used his mind wipe on me. He filled my mind with holes so I wouldn't remember, and he ruined my life. I tell you that my memory of that time has changed. I'm whole again. You're welcome. She raises an eyebrow. But how do I know that our newest member hasn't simply used a different form of mind control to give you false memories? I have a Mirrorcaster here in which Mazov is said to appear, but I do not wish to expose him to the dangers of an untested psychic. She faces you fully. I have some limited psychic ability myself. If our new friend will allow me, I would examine your mind for the truth. Examine my shit. I'm gold-tied all the way. You're gonna see that I'm a really good person. Let me ask a few other questions first. Of course, you must have many.
Hold a moment. You seem like a fair-minded person. The others here seem to defer to you. So let me ask, if the changing god was here, right now, what would you say to him? What would you do to him?
I'd tell him what he has wrought in our persons. I'd ask him why he encourages strife, or I'd engage him in a discussion about mortality. He smiles a little. But tell me, mortal man, what is it you truly want to say?
I want justice. I don't know how to get it. Your creator, the changing god, he was responsible for what happened to my village.
Wait, what? How is the changing god responsible?
Doubt you care, but I'll tell you anyway. You saw my memorial in the valley. We talked about it in case you've forgotten. I mentioned the frame. Well, traveler came through my town. She looked a lot like you, actually, though without the burn scar or the visible tattoo. You're not the changing god, then it was your creator in your body who told me to activate the frame and how. Then she left town. I didn't think anything of it at the time, but...
Scratches his arm.
Well, I activated the frame. Black monsters spilled all tooth and claw. I got knocked out. When I awoke, everyone was gone. No trace. The only thing that was different, the monsters scarred me. Their attack left these tattoos all up and down my arms. A poison that whispers in my mind. A constant reminder that I failed everyone I ever loved. That was the changing god's gift to me. I loaded the frame, took it to Sega's cliffs. Orth Fong promised to help me. Found out he could fold it down. But that's as far as we ever got. Never even figured out who made it or why. In the meantime, I've been looking for the changing god to try to find out what he knows. Why did he have me activate the frame? What happened to my family? I don't like the answers.
His smile is grim and deadly, and his tattoos hum and hiss with power. Oh, we got us a tough guy here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll help you find out what the truth is, Aligern.
Sure you will.
She holds a hand to his face and he stills. Aligern, what's past is past. Do you want aid? Do you want answers? Because if you do, your companion here is the one who will guide you to them. If you let your rage blind you and poison you, you will never find the truth. Look to the future and, well, do not forget the past. Never that. Let the past guide you, but do not let it poison you. He steps back. Here, a gift of knowledge for you. One of the blessings, or the curses perhaps, is that as cast-offs we can on occasion find flashes of our Creator's memories inside our bodies.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time.
Should you find the frame that was the cause of your miseries, our friend might be able to shake loose a memory from our sire. Don't guarantee its success, but...
He studies you for a moment.
This is the changing god. The damage from the fall has done significant harm. Your best hope is to travel with her. Perhaps you can find the answers you seek, but I pray you find peace in your heart.
As she speaks, you can feel the tides roll gently off of her, softening the walls Aligern has constructed in his mind. He looks skeptical, I'll try. No guarantees.
That's all anyone can ask. Now, do either of you have any other business with me? Tell me about yourself. I keep the peace here in Mialavest. Our sire brought the jagged dream to Sega's cliffs in my body. Did you know that? I did not know that. She shakes her head. The conflict they seek to start. The wars. I swore that I would make no deaths in my lifetime, bring no pain. I came here in the wake of the first death, and her loyalists were at the throats of our sires. I brought peace to them. They agreed we would make Mialavest a sanctuary again. That is my achievement, my legacy. Why would you feel guilty about our sire bringing the jagged dream to Sega's cliffs? It wasn't you. True, and yet the jagged dream knew me under a name and a history that wasn't my own. The killers, the haters, the ones who wanted to see blood and death. They would tell me of their schemes, wanted my approval. And any action on my part they took as such. She stares down at her hands. I have never taken a life, but blood stains me. I can't feel that again. Ever. Who put you in charge of Mialavest? Why, no one did. I saw the need and forged the peace myself. I saw a path to avoid the bloodshed, and I set my feet upon it. With my end goal in mind, those who would oppose me saw that I had set my ideals and would not deviate from them. And since my plan did not involve exalting myself over them, did not put them at a disadvantage, who could say no? Indeed, I am in charge, only insofar as they allow it. They are the ones who enforce the peace. I just speak of it. Why are you running this place again? I do not run it. I administer, I request, I guide, but I do not take charge. I have other questions. I will endeavor to answer them. Let's talk about you again. No, let's not, actually. A ghost of a smile plays at her lips. If we must. No, I have other questions. I'd like to ask some questions about, well, cast-offs and all that entails. Of course. Whoa, I got a lot of questions here. It's question time! Can you tell me about the cast-offs here? She spreads her hands in regret. Ordinarily, we see more activity here, and we would perhaps have prepared a homecoming for you. But a rumor has convinced many that the sorrow has been more active of late. Ease their minds, I offered a vote to close the portals into the sanctuary. I digress. The current guests include the Chalcedon, Lady Anshi, Elkishai, Andronus, Rema, Melmoth. Ah, I suppose you've just missed my friend Paj. Paj was not a nice person. The Chalcedon commands our creator's forces in the endless battle. He's a true believer, a tightly wound man, but brilliant. Lady Anshi brings her trinkets from all over her mercantile empire. Poor Elkishai has been badly treated by the world. Perhaps you could have a word or two with him. Antronus is, well, his best quality is that he's loyal to Paj. Perhaps I should say to the memory of the first. But he's also volatile and argumentative, and he's devoted his centuries to fighting. You'll likely find him sparring verbally with Rema, whose devotion to the ideals of our sire is the equal of his. She smiles a bit. And then, my friend Melmoth. She refers to everyone as her friend, basically. The leader of the Dendra Ohur. He's quite a charmer. Speak to him, you'll see. You tell me about the cast-offs here again. The best way to learn of someone is to speak to them, sister. They may snap and growl, but they will not harm you. Not here. What can you tell me about cast-offs who aren't here? Small frown crosses her mouth, a minute wrinkle in her brow. Our Creator chose to live a bountiful life, and he has brought hundreds into the world. He has explored many forms, shapes, and sizes, and he has led some of our kin through time-twisting loops. I do not know all their names, but I hope that I might one day befriend them, even those who have been twisted into savagery. Alright, Adira does seem to be pretty compassionate and enlightened. This is like talking to the Dalai Lama. Even if I knew them all, I would not divulge their secrets, just as I would not divulge yours. He smiles gently to take the sting from the rebuke. What can you tell me about the sorrow? I know little. Nothing about where it came from, nor its purpose, nor its true desires, apart from seeing us all dead. She closes her eyes. None of us do, though some of us have devoted centuries to trying to understand it. Indeed, the creation of Miela Vest was intended for that purpose. But the first and the changing god grew complacent, and then they grew possessive, and then the endless battle. She sighs and opens her eyes. Sometimes I feel that the sorrow must hunt us because so many of us are so very disagreeable. But in truth, I believe the sorrow hunts us because of something to do with the tides. Our unique powers, tied to the tides, must summon it. I have not seen the sorrow track other living beings, nor heard of it in any context but the cast-off situation. Must be the tides. Must. Why do you think the sorrow hunts us again? We know that it hunts us, though we do not know why. I believe that it hunts us because of the tidal surges, that they draw it, like flesh draws the blood feast tick. Beyond that, I cannot say. So using the tidal surge, bad idea. It's like using the One Ring. Don't do it, you'll dry the eye of Sauron. And yet, I'll probably end up using tidal surges once or twice. Or a few times, I don't know. What can you tell me about Miela Vest? The name comes from a language predating our creator. It means Stone of Wonders. He and the First created our sanctuary jointly, setting it on this plateau because the devices they found here proved uniquely suited to creating a sanctuary and to power the shields that protect us. They brought more of us here. Our elders hid from the sorrow, or retreated here from the cares of the world. They built homes, laboratories, and more. The shields protected them from the sorrow's gaze, but when the First and the changing god struggled, all that fell apart. The peace of Miela Vest was shattered, and those who remained chose sides. Blood spilled on the Great Disk. Factions fought for control of the wisdom gained here. She shakes her head. Such a waste. It was not until after the First death, and my arrival, that we were able to re-secure peace. And so we once again have a sanctuary for any cast-off. You look sidelong at your companions, and their occasional guests. Would that we had not closed the doorways, though. Whether the sorrow is truly more active or not, there are undoubtedly others who would wish to find safety here. She shakes her head. I accept the responsibility for the closure. Those who chose to leave have left, and I wish the rest safety. You tell me about Miela Vest again. Our home, our sanctuary, the one place where we have always managed to resist the sorrow. What can you tell me about the first cast-off? She died a few years after I was born. A pity. I wish I could have spoken with her, to understand her drive and passion. She honestly thought she would serve us all, and sometimes I ask myself what she might do in a situation when two of our brothers are fighting. She shrugs. And then I remember that so many of them have died fighting in her war. And my respect vanishes. I would have loved to speak with her, help her find another way. Alas. Can you tell me anything more about the first cast-off? She was driven, ambitious, and strong, and she cared deeply for all of us. But her hatred obscured the bonds between us, and she drove us into war. Let's talk about the Changing God. What do you think of him? Have you seen him? Do you know where he is? That's quite a list. Which would you prefer to address first? Well, have you seen him recently? She laughs. Never. To my knowledge. Perhaps I have, but he never revealed himself. It would be very like him to gather his intelligence and then be away. We regard every new cast-off with the suspicion that he or she might truly be our creator, and frequently a new cast-off will pretend to be. But we find the truth one way or another, and our sire continues to live in a way that we do not fully understand. To be clear, you really haven't seen the Changing God recently. I do not believe so, no. What do you think of our creator? A brilliant man, thoughtful, charismatic, a mind greater than any the Ninth World has seen. Where the Eon priests of today cobble together bits and pieces of Numenera, our creator was a visionary. Were it not for the sorrow, I honestly believe that he would lift us into a new age of human achievement. He shrugs. He has also systematically destroyed every relationship he ever built.
Well, who hasn't? Let he who has, without systematically destroying every relationship he's ever built, cast the first stone. Not really, I relate to that.
He does not seem to understand human frailty or emotion. No, let me rephrase that. He understands those things well enough to exploit them in others, but he does not accept their reality, if you understand what I mean. More plainly, he is a selfish man who grows ever more disconnected with his inferiors every year.
She purses her lips.
His life is a tragedy. It truly is. Tell me what you think of our creator again. A visionary, a genius, a man whose skills remain unsurpassed. Also, a deeply flawed man, whose personal foibles have made him unable to connect to others. A tragic figure, truly. What do you know of his history? Much of it he has deliberately obscured, and much he has rewritten, either to make himself seem a better man, or to keep his enemies from finding him. But I can provide you with the broad strokes if you wish.
She closes her eyes, recalling.
He saved the city of Sega's Cliffs from the Tabat, and it was after their siege that he focused so heavily on mental transference techniques, though we do not know why. He was successful in his attempts, obviously, and this is the first record we have of the sorrow in modern times.
She taps her fingers on her lips.
They traveled to another world, or dimension, and I have heard that this is where the first was born. His studies in the tides ran deep, claimed to have spent lifetimes exploring them, and when he had mastered them, he destroyed the Tabat utterly. He brought the Order of Truth to Sega's Cliffs, and sought to keep knowledge alive by creating the Dendra Ohur. His life has been about the creation or preservation of wisdom.
She shakes her head.
But to what end? There seems to be no pattern or goal. He does not seem to build for humanity, but for his own legacy. Would we emulate this?
Can you tell me about his history again?
You wish me to begin the recitation again? Very well.
Alright, now this is exactly the same. Let's talk about the other cast-offs again.
What do you know about the tides? I have studied them. What else can I do when I'm not trying to keep the peace here? The first and our sire used Mielavest as their sanctuary after all. Though their remaining notes are cryptic or piecemeal, I have learned enough to believe that it is our use of the tides that draws the sorrow to us. Each of us has access to a broader tidal power. The tidal surges, as you have no doubt discovered. But I choose not to use mine, and I have seen no sign of the sorrow. I recognize that this is not a logical conclusion. The sorrow might yet hunt for me for reasons unknown. But I am content in knowing that at least I harm no others with my body. The smile flickers. Melmoth knows more. She is eager to tell us at every opportunity. He has made certain to use every tool at his disposal in an effort to preserve and understand our lives. But I do not believe that he has made an extensive study of the sorrow's motivations. Yeah, the sorrow is so mysterious. Tell me what you know about the tides again. I believe that it is our use of the tidal surges that draws the sorrow to us. When you leave Mielavest, I urge you to restrain your use. Let me ask you about something else. Certainly. What is that creepy pyramidal structure on the opposite side of the plateau? She gazes in the direction you're pointing. Ah, she says, finally. The feretory. It's unclear whether she is saying the name with reverence or disgust. That has been here for as long as anyone can remember. Though not perhaps when Mielavest was originally founded. What is known is that the first placed it there. What is not known is why. Rumors abound, of course, but as no one knows how to activate or open it, none can be proven. What do people think the feretory is? Oh, the predictable legends. An escape pod of some kind. A final defense against the sorrow should it break through. A repository of the first treasures. I heard one person suggest the first herself was still alive, preserved inside, and that she would return when we needed her most. Her smirk shows what she thinks of this last rumor. It's clear that it's a protection of some kind, but whether it's to protect us or what's inside it remains to be seen. The Thers placed it here long ago, before she died. No one knows or remembers why, though everyone has their own ideas. It seems to be protecting something, but whether it's meant as a protection for us or something inside it remains to be seen. Where is Mazov? You mean physically? That I do not know. He was captured by the Gibra of Mra Julios several years ago, a prisoner for their menagerie, but no one knows what became of him afterward. Ah, Mra Julios, the underwater city place. Bunch of fish people there. The Marecaster is your best hope of finding him, but I cannot let you access it until I know the true extent of your abilities. Tell me where Mazov is again? The last anyone heard of him, he was in the menagerie of Mra Julios, but that was some time ago. No one knows what became of him since. Alright. We've now talked to her about everything. Farewell. And you also. Let Adiris probe my mind. Adiris says she has a Mirrorcaster in which Mazov appears. With my abilities to change reality, I could speak with him in the mirror, but she wishes to probe my mind first to determine the truth of this tale. To be honest, I'm curious what she will find as well. Alright. Cool. So we're gonna go and let her probe our mind and go into the Mirrorcaster and do all that really cool stuff in our next episode. If you're watching the stream, don't go anywhere because I am not done playing. But I'm gonna save my game just to make sure. It's been a while since I did so. If you're watching on YouTube, the episode is now over. Thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Torment, Tides of Numenera.